Hello, darlings. Exciting times. We are in eclipse season and it is very full on. We're right through that Pisces eclipse, but we are not seeing things clearly yet. Oh no. How was that for you, by the way? I had something really weird happen to me. You know, I was talking about how it brings up wounds from the past. It brings up situations with other people and about letting go. I went on my PayPal and I was looking for something. I clicked customers. And the first two names came up were people that I felt very hurt and betrayed by. Now, number one, they shouldn't be in my PayPal. I've never paid them. They've never paid me. And I was like, whoa, something for me to look at around feelings of betrayal. And we are sort of unearthing all these wounds. Maybe people from the past came up. But whatever is going on here and in the world, you know, it's what we are seeing is not necessarily as it is. Please bear that in mind. And then we go towards the massive, the important, the absolutely staggering 29 degrees new moon eclipse, which is full on. We have all got to be very clear about the purity of our heart when this eclipse occurs. I am going to get stuck into that in a minute. It is opposing Saturn. Saturn is the planet of structure. Saturn is the planet of restriction, but it is in Pisces. And, you know, this whole 29 degrees means we're coming to a point of crisis, of explosion, of intensity. Let's get stuck in. I was going to film this outside, but it is raining and it is also sunny. So we're going to have a rainbow. And I think we're all finding the energy a bit like that. It's sort of, woo, it's very dark, but there's also potential for hope. So hang on to your hats. I'm going inside and we'll see what it is for your sign and the general flavour. So in a general sense, are you looking after yourself? Are you taking care of the details in your life? And Eclipse is saying there is no more messing around. This is it. And particularly with Saturn, you know, we are really getting a big old boot towards doing what we need to do to be safe in our life, to be healthy, to release the things that we're doing that are self-destructive. Of course, the eclipse in Saturn was sort of playing into all of our stuff about illusions, about, woohoo, you know, doing all the things that we enjoy, which we know aren't necessarily good for us. And this particular Virgo eclipse is saying, right, how pure are you? How real is your purity? How real are you being in the world? You know, and how can you transform your life so that you are being of service, not only to yourself, but other people, so that you're looking after yourself. And it gives us this ability, whether we want it or not, to transform our patterns, our habits and our daily routines. And to be honest with you, that is the only way we transform, when we look at all the little things in our life. And the joy is we can change one little thing and it can change our whole destiny. We can be wanting to kind of manifest or do things, never manifest in eclipse season, by the way. And it takes changing one thing for us to get what we want. So what in your life do you need to change? You know it. Is it too much scrolling? Is it focusing on the negative? Is it having negative self-talk? What is it you're doing? Sorry, I'm trying to turn all the lights on. Oh, what is it you're doing in your life that isn't serving you, that isn't nurturing you, and that you're not looking after yourself? Also, if you're self-critical, or even, in fact, if there are people in your life that are very critical of you and it's unfair and it's not right, those people, terrible ugly shoes, I'll just kick them under there. Those people in your life that you have those feelings about, well, it's going to be, you know, you're not going to tolerate it anymore. You are going to find yourself. You're going to believe in yourself. But, of course, it's the eclipse. Not all will be revealed. And in the world in general, we're seeing a lot of false flags. We're seeing a lot of information come out, but we haven't got the truth of that information yet. And to be honest with you, this whole process is going to take 6 months. So it's time to do an inventory of our practical life, of our soul and our spirit and our journey, because we're all going for the most extraordinary astrological time. And on top of that, we have Pluto out of bounds. So what is Pluto out of bounds and why is it so important in this extraordinary time? Well, when a planet is out of bounds, I put it like this, other astrologers may put it differently, it's sort of uncontrollable. It's not controlled by the sun. The sun doesn't influence it the way it normally would. It's not behaving in a usual or controllable way. So on a plus side, it means that some area, whatever that planet is expressing, can do revolutionary things and do things in a completely different way. But on the other hand, it's so extreme. And don't forget, we are dealing with Pluto. So this has got all of our attention, all astrologers' attention focused on what this could mean. And on top of that, this is the most bizarre thing. Pluto is going out of bounds in and out for the next 10 years, causing chaos, revolution, and intensity. And when it goes out of bounds, it can go one of two ways. It can be totally destructive, or it can bring about positive revolution. And this one, thankfully, is heading towards positive revolution. But as we know, revolution is very messy. There is going to be an uprising of some sort. On top of that, after it's done this for 10 years, we have 3,000 years where it doesn't do it at all. So the next decade is supremely important for the evolution of our spirit. And it's why we're all waking up from a deep sleep. It's why our vibration is going to the next level. And also, don't forget, it's in Aquarius. So we will be seeing new dimensions. We will be experiencing things that were unheard of, unthought of, or even unvisualized before. And we are now just starting that process. So think about what that means for you and have your community around you and make sure that you are sort of tuning into the fact we are all one and we all need to really stick together at this time. I mean, it's going to be fascinating. Anyway, let me get back to the eclipse. So the eclipse is basically very, very intense. And there is, all sorts of things going on that are going to make us really look at the details in our life. So let's start with the signs. So for Aries, for you, obviously everything hits you in the face as it is. So for you, it's all about your health and well-being. It's all about being very pure, being very clear, changing and twiddling with the small details in your life so that you can completely release a lot of baggage that you've been hanging on to. So are you looking after yourself? And in which ways can you transform that? So for Taurus, it's in your 5th house of creativity, of self-expression, of joy, of passion, of desire and bliss. Of course, it's eclipsed. So you may feel as if in that time when the eclipse is happening and for a few days, you might go, I don't even know what makes me happy anymore. I don't know what makes me creative. But you're going through a process of shedding to get back to that place. How happy are you at the moment? How creative are you being? Have you come to the end of a creative or joyful or love relationship situation? What is going on for you now is a rebirth in those areas where you will be able to express yourself in a new way at the end of this process. Gemini, it's all about your home and family. There is a point of which you're thinking about your home, your family changes. You may even find yourself feeling some grief if there's been any loss in your past to do with family. You may be thinking about places you lived before, where you're living now. Now, none of these things have to be bad. Basically, our awareness comes into being. We become aware of what these things mean to us and how we can strengthen our roots. So that's likely to be what's coming up for you. Now, Cancer, I've got to make sure I get this right because I'm counting backwards and I'm slightly mathematically blind. So we have Cancer. For you, it's all about your communication. There may be some very interesting news coming with this eclipse. I mean, really intense information. Now, remember, it takes a while for us to really see the full picture. So whatever thought you have, information, or anything that's delivered to you, just think about it, focus on it, and don't hang on to any old ideas or old ways of thinking. This is about a complete rebirth in the way that you think and how you speak your truth. There has never been a more important time to speak our truth than now. Leo, it's all about your sense of security. How secure are you feeling financially, emotionally, in your life? How are your foundations and your roots doing? Again, because it's an eclipse, you may feel, that you may feel restricted in some way, because don't forget, we've got Saturn opposing it. And there may be something you're doing that isn't helping or facilitating your sense of security. And there is it's not even a light, is it? It's a dark cloud that goes across for you to see and to be able to transform your sense of security and abundance. Now, as I say, don't manifest when it's eclipse season, but in the upcoming cycle of new and full moons, really, if you put your manifesting energy out there should be a very positive, eventually, this year, a very positive shift when it comes to your finances. Virgo, you are going through it, because don't forget, this is the second new moon in your sign. Hopefully, the first new moon, you realized what it is that you need to let go of. You've had a rebirth. You've come into your power. Here you are, strong and ready to step into the void that's leading you to the next dimension of being you. You are coming out of this a completely different person, but a more powerful one. And you are being really asked to put yourself under a microscope, really, and look at the things that you need to let go of and transform, and not to be self-critical. Because actually, do you know what's weird about Virgos? They can be, we've all got our weirdness, darling, I'm not just talking about you, is that you could be self-critical, and it's almost like a comfort zone that stops you doing what you need to do. I want you to love yourself during this eclipse. I want you to treat yourself like your own best friend. I want you to be so sweet to yourself during this eclipse, and expect that from other people. Don't expect criticism, don't give criticism. Think about really coming from your heart chakra for yourself and others, and you will notice a big shift after this eclipse. Libra, you are looking at your boundaries, and there will be a truth revealed. If anybody has hidden something from you, Libra, that is coming out in this eclipse. It's extraordinary. Now, again, it might not happen on the day, but soon after, you are having a revelation about something that previously you did not know. And also, just again, if you've been hiding things from yourself or other people, that may come up too. So it's quite interesting. Scorpio, it's all about feeling at one with the world. How at one do you feel? I've got lots of Scorpios in my life, friends, and I know that sometimes they feel very isolated, right? Because you're very aware of the darkness that goes on. You're very super sensitive, and you're super, probably fundamentally very trusting, and you feel that, you can't really trust because you're so sensitive and you get very, very hurt. So you're very intense, you're very deep, and you're very aware. Right now, you're being asked to connect to other people and look at your connections, look at your belief systems, look at your sense that you are one with all of us, even though you're your own unique soul. And do you need to change who you're mixing with? Again, something might come up around that area. Sagittarius, it's all about your career. You are thinking about where you're going. Now, if you're retired and you're not working, it's about where are you putting your vital life force in this next phase of your life. So, and what is your reputation? And that goes for everybody. Who are you? How do people perceive you? What is your reputation? How do you feel about that? And where are you putting your juice in this next phase? There is great opportunity coming, but at the moment you have to think about what you have to shed, what your fears are, and what fears are holding you back. Capricorn, you are having an adventure, and you're thinking about your adventures, and you're thinking about new horizons and stretching yourself. Now, if you haven't been doing that, if you've been holding back, working too hard, slogging up that hill like the little goat that you are, if you've been doing things that have held you back from that ability to go forward, this eclipse is going to bring that up for you, because the universe is saying it is time to have an adventure. It is time to truly do things differently. You know, you cannot do things the same way, and the eclipse will be showing you that. Aquarius, you have at this time the opportunity, in a way, to really dig deep into your emotions in a way that you don't normally. It's about power. It's about looking at anything in your life that you've been obsessed with. Obsession, sex, drugs, rock and roll, life, death, rebirth, anything primal is coming up. So you might find this an intense one. But ultimately, this eclipse is going to help you find your true power, not to give your power away, but to really be within your power and respect your power. Now, power doesn't mean in the patriarchal sense of power over. It means, you know, that life force and that sense of self-respect. It's going to be very interesting to see what comes up for you, but I would imagine it is very intense, darlings. Finally, we have Pisces. Woo! You are feeling the extremes of this eclipse. I mean, it'd be very interesting. Let me know in comments how you experienced your eclipse. And what you're going through now is all about your relationships, your one-to-one relationships, whether that's romance, whether that's a business relationship, whether that's with your best friend. It's all about how you share yourself in that one-to-one and intimate way. But again, it will bring you magnificent revelations. Journal, write it down, release, release, release. And that applies to all of us of all sizes. We have to release whatever it is that's coming up for us, that we know it's now the time to go to the next level. We are born in interesting times, and this eclipse is going to be super interesting. And yet again, remember, this whole eclipse season, we are not seeing the truth of any situation. And there's been a number of situations going on in the external world where we don't have any of the answers. Everybody's got a bloody strong opinion, that's for sure. But all is not as it seems, and that will be coming out not only in the next 6 months, but further along. And whew, it's going to be shocking, it's going to be liberating, it's going to be universe changing. Anyway, let me know in the comments. So much love to you. You take care, gorgeous, and I'll speak to you soon.